boxing out of the blue corner and is wearing the navy blue shorts. At the weight, he scaled 9 stone and 13 pounds. Taking part tonight in his 7th professional contest, please welcome from Redditch, Steve Hanley. And across the ring in the red corner, this young man is wearing the green and gold shorts. At the weight, he scaled 9 stone and 10 pounds exactly. He's undefeated in 2 professional contests. Please welcome from Southend, the undefeated Danny Hunt. Your timekeeper of the belt is Mr. Nick White, and your referee is Mr. Marcus McDonald. This is 4 3-minute rounds.
Well, the referee will just have a quick word with the 2 fighters on tonight's final contest on fightnight.com. Covent Garden. And on the show now from Southend in Essex. It's a little coastal town with not a lot of sand and a lot of amusement arcades. Danny Hunt, the youngest professional, and an interesting character, Graham Beecroft.
Yes, he is. He's won 3 NABC titles, National Association of Boys Club titles. That's a very junior sort of level of boxing in terms of age, but it's a national title in Britain. And he is a talented boxer, and a lot of it is expected of him. And he's up against this fellow who's only just turned professional not so long ago at 29 years of age. Comes from the Nobby Nob stable in Birmingham, a stable which provides boxers anytime you want them, all at a price. None of them guaranteed to win very much, but all of them guaranteed to give their opponents a pretty good examination. And they're there in front of them, and that's exactly why Danny is facing this man tonight.
And you can see from Hanley the elbows up high in the Nobby Nob style. Good defensive boxers, teaches defence first and make sure that none of his fighters get hurt. Having said that, Hanley is on the front foot. I don't think I've ever seen a Nobby Nob's fighter attack quite as much as this. Decent counter though by Danny Hunt. He just came around the side, he's quick on his feet, and this has been an engaging opening to this contest. 4 3-minute rounds at featherweight, and again it's Hanley on the front foot. He's coming forward and he's throwing that long left out, just picked off though as he came in there on Danny Hunt. Well, the teenager knows he's been in a fight. He thought that Hanley was just going to come and stand and bob and weave and try and not be hurt for 4 rounds. He's in for something of a shock. Essex boy Danny written on the shorts of Hunt. And Hanley just holds on to him in the corner. He's certainly on the front foot, Graham, more than I expected.
Yes, very much so. He's not got a great record. He's only won 1 of his contests, lost 5. He is 29 years of age, though, and Hunt is, I think I'm right in saying, the youngest boxer in professional boxing at 18. Now, there is a lot of difference in durability between boxers at that particular age, and it'll be interesting to see whether Hunt can do the business here. And at the moment, he's on the attack, John.
And good work from Hunt as well, and the crowd, probably the loudest they've been all night, really get behind the man from Southend. I'm sure if he fought in his hometown, he'd have a massive following. Jumping away with the left, and then, as we were saying, Hanley again forcing right into the corner in front of us, but then Hunt, to his credit, throws out a very couple of quick body shots, gets himself out of any kind of trouble, comes forward again. It's a wild-looking right, and another one, and Hanley pretty easily just manages to duck down underneath both of those punches. And Hanley just holding on, and it's another wasted shot from Hunt. And that left was a decent-looking effort from Hanley. It's going to be a very difficult round to score for the referee. Hanley probably the aggressor in most of the exchanges that we've seen, but Hunt is getting through here. He's doing a bit of work, mainly on the counter. His face is looking pretty red, and that's really picking up on the pictures, and that's a very tough round to call.
Yes, tough round to call. I think Hunt might just have shaded it there, getting words of advice from Brian Lawrence leaning through the ropes, and Dean Powell, who's in at the ring. Dean Powell, who's the trainer for Frank Maloney's stable of boxers, and he'll be giving Hunt some wise words. It's a difficult contest for him from the point of view that he's up against a man who is older, slightly more experienced, although it's all relative, isn't it, from the point of view that he's only just turned professional. And Hunt, indeed himself, had a good little amateur record before he decided to turn. So it's a difficult contest. It's difficult for that particular corner to pick opponents, and this man here is obviously one that they thought would provide him with stiff opposition, and that's what he's doing. Will he be good enough, though, to beat Danny Hunt and end his very short unbeaten record?
And here we go for round 2. 4 scheduled. Just to remind you, immediately Hanley comes forward again. He's certainly developed a bit of a flush about him, Hanley, and he's just picked off as he again comes lunging forward. This time the two boxers just decide to just hold on for a second. A little bit of wrestling going on. It's Hanley with the tattoos on that left arm. The older man by a good 11 years. You would imagine he'd possibly lose a bit in speed, but he's quick enough on his feet, Hanley.
He's just got a little bit of a nick forming, Hanley, I think, over his left eye. Nothing too serious at the moment.
It's good consistent work, though, from Hunt. He's got through more times than Hanley. Hanley's been the aggressor. The Essex point, Danny Hunt, this country's youngest professional. He's the man in the green shorts. Out comes the gum shield, and so timeout, says the referee. He's just going to have to go into the corner, and that will just delay things a few seconds. Very young to be turning professional. Normally people stay in the amateur game a good couple of years after the age of 18. That Danny Hunt is on. Decent atmosphere inside the new Connaught rooms. Hanley again with those big strides forward. But once again, you might say Hunt's just getting through with more, scoring with more of those punches. Just loses balance for a second there, Hanley, as he tried to throw a big-looking left. And understandably, I guess, that the two of them just decide to pause for a second and take a bit of a breather. This was 12 rounds. There's no way it would go anywhere along at this pace. There is a bit of blood on show from somewhere, just trying to work out where it's coming from.
It's coming from over the left eye of Hanley. He got the cut in the last round, but it's looking a little bit worse. And the referee had a good long look at that cut just a few moments ago, just to see where it is and what sort of danger there was. Again, the gum shield has come out. Danny Hunt's gum shield has come out, so it's going to be taken back to the corner, washed and put back in the boxer's mouth.
Close-up there of the blood around the eye of Hanley. I don't think it's pouring. I think it is very, very red, though. You can definitely see it, and you can see it. Well, I first spotted it on the shoulder of Hunt as the two of them came in close. And some also just begin to splatter around the forehead of Hanley. He's on the attack, though. He knows perhaps that he's got to do something. His knee's just bent there as Hunt got through with a decent-looking right hand.
This is a dangerous one for Hunt, because obviously they're touting him, trying to make him an attractive boxer for the public and a ticket seller, and a prospect as well. And he looks to have some good combinations, a nice worker, but the boy he's up against, Hanley, is a dangerous opponent.
And the blood is really visible around the body and shoulders of Hunt. He's paler skinned than Hanley, naturally, and Hanley also looks a bit flush. And let's have a look at how much work they're going to do on that left eye in between these rounds, Graham.
Yeah, well, Nobby Nobbs knows what he's doing there. He'll just put those adrenaline swabs and try to sort that out. There wasn't too much blood pouring into his eye, so it's not too serious. And if they can work well on it in that corner in the minute and slightly under now, of course, that they've got, then it shouldn't cause too many problems unless it gets opened up again. As you can see there, plenty of grease being applied just to try to make sure that any punches that do land around there perhaps skid off a little bit more and don't quite stick on the target area. Still looks as though he's enjoying it, doesn't he, Hanley? Got that British Bulldog with the Union flag tattooed on his left forearm. Hunt there. Yes, he did change quickly from the amateur ranks to the professional ranks. Quite surprising as well in this day and age, because now with lottery money, the top young amateurs are being persuaded more and more, they're being helped more and more to stick on and perhaps go for Olympic Games titles and Commonwealth Games and things like that.
Well, he's in a professional contest tonight, and Hanley again coming forward with that big, long left. Centre of the ring again, and hands a wild looking right from Hanley that time. Hunt staying compact, staying on his feet, keep him moving. So they dance over towards our position, now over to the far side. You see the bar adverts for Lewis versus Grandson. The big fight coming up April 29th. It's a loss of balance there from Hanley. It wasn't a punch that made him stagger towards the ropes. He just, well, as he's done once or twice, he just seemed to over-lean and come forward a bit too fast. Hunt stays on the move. He keeps ducking his head down low, and it's providing a difficult target for Hanley to hit. Forward yells you hear that man to our left. He's a supporter of Danny Hunt, urging his man forward, but he's doing well enough, picking off Hanley on the retreat. Just a bit of blood appearing under the nose of the older man, Hanley.
Yes, and I would say that advice isn't the best either from the man who is outside the ring there, because the last thing I think that Danny Hunt wants to do with this character, Peter Hanley, is get involved in a war. He scored nicely to the midriff there, and that might be an area where he might want to slow Hanley down, because he's dangerous still, Hanley. The way he punches, he follows through, and he might do a bit of damage with the elbows as well.
He does launch himself into those punches, Hanley. When he goes, he really goes. Hunt has done a fairly good job of keeping out of the way. Just as they come over to us, he looks like he's been in a fight, Hunt, but there's no damage to his face that I can see. That's a decent-looking right shot, though, from Hanley. Sort of half punch, half hook around the side. Little exchange again. Just wondering whether the eyes of Hunt are beginning to just bruise up and swell up a touch for that right eye. I'm not sure if it's picking up on the pictures, but a yard or two away from them, just looking like, well, not damaged, no sign of any cuts or anything on Hunt, but obviously Hanley has got through the defence a few times. It's another decent looking left jab from Hanley again. As the stools get ready to come into the ring at the end of this round, it's been another good round, another big test for Danny Hunt. And the two boxers just exchanged a friendly word at the end of the rounds. How are we going to score that one, Graham? It's been a tight contest.
It's been pretty close all the way through. I think that that Hunt has got himself into a points lead in this contest up to now as we come towards the end of it. I think he's got himself into a points lead, but it's been a good contest for him. I tell you, if they thought this fellow was hand-picked, the fellow in the other corner, we see Nobby Nobbs working on him there, Steve Hanley. If we thought he'd been hand-picked to any great extent, I think that if you just looked at his record, you might think, well, OK, we'll put him in against this guy. 1 win, 5 defeats, no real problems. But as we've said a couple of times this evening, Nobby Nobbs boxers, they may not win too many, a lot of them, but they know the way around the ring. And this guy's a tough character. He likes a good old tear-up, doesn't he? And Danny Hunt has had to be right at the top of his form. He's been given a tough test here, and this will be a nice learning curve from him. I'd suggest that he'll pick the video up after this, and they'll run through this, and he'll learn as much as he will have done in any of his, in either of his previous 2 contests.
Well, Nobby Nobbs fighters are renowned for their defensive ability, but Hanley's certainly been coming forward more so than I've ever seen anyone from that particular stable. The famous Peter Buckley, who is a man with over 130 professional fights, he normally comes to defend and teach young guys a lesson in how to get through a stubborn opponent. But Hanley's a different master altogether. He's been on the front foot, and it's Hunt who's had to often get on his bike and try and just pick off Hanley, who's constantly coming forward. But he's done a good job, and he's managed to ignore some of the shouts from his supporters. Danny, shout the South End posse on the far side of the new Connaught rooms from us. But he certainly has to, he's shown that he's got a decent bit of strength about him, Danny Hunt, because Hanley's obviously the older man. You'd probably say that he's stronger, the stronger of the two. He looks a bit stronger as well. He's got 3 pounds on Hunt. 9.13 Hanley weighed in. And so it's been a test, but good quick hand speed, and as you'd expect of a highly rated 18-year-old Danny Hunt. And that's what will probably win him this fight. It's a wild-looking right from Hanley on this occasion. Hunt keeping moving, ducking down low, keeping out of trouble. And that's what he's got to do. He should have this fight won. It'll be 3 wins from 3 fights. He just needs to keep out of trouble, make sure he doesn't pick up any cuts or further bruising or swelling. And he certainly managed to cut Hanley, although the blood they've done a good job on that in the corner. He has managed to stem that, and he just manages to turn Hanley there. For a second, it looked like he might be in a spot of bother of his own. Closing stages of the final contest on FightNight.com, live on the internet around the world. And it's Danny Hunt, Britain's youngest professional. Close to winning, an engaging contest. Almost losing his balance again there, Hanley up against the ropes. And the supporters just trying to roar on young Danny Hunt for the final few seconds of the man's fight, but he's just taken a couple of punches there. A little flurry combination, a left, right, left from Hanley again. Blood visible under the nose of Hanley. The referee just tells the pair of them to come apart. And as Hunt faces those, Graham, you can tell he has taken a few punches. His eyes are a bit swollen.
Yes, he's showing the signs of some reddening, but the referee is going to raise the arm of Danny Hunt, and he keeps his unbeaten record, 3 fights, 3 wins. That was a toughie for him, and that will be a big bonus. He's shaking his head over in the corner there, as you can see, as though to say, oh, I wasn't too happy with altogether that, but he shouldn't be too reproachful of himself, because I thought that was a real good test for him against a boxer who, on the face of it, has not got any kind of respectable record. 6 fights, in fact now 7 fights, he's won 1 and lost 6. But that was a good 4-round test, no question about that whatsoever. And Danny Hunt, at the end of the day, will be proud of it, but he'll know what this professional game is all about now. At 18 years of age, that's his problem as far as I'm concerned. He hasn't perhaps got that overall durability that we saw from Steve Hanley, and they will have to just be a little bit careful with this youngster not to throw him in 1 step too far, because that could be the worst thing in the world for him.
So it's victory for Danny Hunt. Let's get the details.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of super featherweight action, your referee Marcus McDonald has scored the contest as follows. For Healy, 38 points, Hanley 38 points, Hunt 39 points. Young winner from Southend, Danny, the Essex boy, Hunt. And a round of applause please for a very, very game boss indeed, Steve Hanley.